Hello and welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, and you have arrived at Streaming Idiots. Yes, you took a wrong turn somewhere and you got here. Oh well, that's okay. It's actually not too bad. It's kind of like the Island of Misfit Toys. You remember that what was it that Christmas movie? Anyway, the Island of Misfit Toys. Streaming Idiots. Why Streaming Idiots? Well, streaming idiots because streaming sometimes can be really intimidating and appear very complex, complicated, hard, all that other stuff. And basically we want to say, yeah, it is. And you can feel like an idiot when you're doing it. So what's better than to come join a bunch of other idiots that are learning how to do streaming and sharing tips and tricks and successes. But most importantly, that's right, failures, because we learn more from failure than we do from anything else. I can show you my failures, but until you've experienced it yourself, you can't appreciate the sheer terror and panic that goes through your heart. No, I'm just teasing. It's not that bad. But there are times when, things go wrong and you have to figure out how to do it and how to prevent it and keep it from coming the next time. Kirk says it was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Thank you, Kirk. All right. So, welcome. We're glad you're here. We'd love to have you come join us in, oh my goodness, I've got some unintended graphics there. Hold on a second. Let me get rid of that rascal. Goodness gracious. It was really kind of funny. I was trying to get all this stuff set up today and the phone kept ringing and other things, and there were lots of things that didn't get done. Anyway, that's my excuse. That's my excuse. The dog ate my homework. By the way, Kirk's the only one that's turned in his homework last time I saw it. Homework, you say? Yes, that's homework for the live streaming rookies introduction to sales and marketing class that started last Wednesday night. It's actually not too late to join if you want to. You can go to our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, go to the store, look for live streaming rookies class, look for the sales and marketing class, and you can join us. It's $99 for 6 sessions. You can get access to last week's sessions. It's been really valuable so far for the folks that have attended. And yes, you do have homework. So that's the live streaming rookies introduction to sales and marketing class. Again, tonight, you can sign up at easternshorebroadcasting.com in the store in the live streaming rookies category. And speaking of live streaming rookies, we are putting together another, I say we, I mean me, putting together another class that will start probably the first week in February, called Live Streaming Rookies, of course. vMix 101, the basics of production. So you say, okay, I know some things about vMix, but boy, I don't have the big picture. I'm missing, shortcuts and triggers and activators and all this other kind of stuff. Well, if you feel like you're missing something, if you have holes in your vMix knowledge, then you want to sign up for this vMix class. It's essentially vMix 101, and it'll start the first week in February. It'll go for 6 weeks, might be 7. And we'll just have to see if we can get all that material into 6 without overwhelming you. It'll be I think it's going to be an afternoon Eastern time class, which may mean it's going to be a midday West Coast class and then an early evening European class. So we're trying to find a time that will fit as many people as possible, at least first time out of the box. We'll see. But if you've got some input on that, shoot me a note, Tom at easternshorebroadcasting.com, and tell me if you have a class time preference. And I'll put this same kind of request in the Streaming Idiots Facebook group. You say, Streaming Idiots Facebook group? You have a Facebook group? Yes. Yes, go to Facebook, type in Streaming Idiots, and you will arrive at the Streaming Idiots Facebook group, and you can join for free. In fact, it will be valuable because there's so many, number one, there's so many other cool people there. In fact, I think just about, except for you, of course, all the other cool people in live streaming are already there. And they are they're waiting for you to come join. And if you say, oh, well, it sounds so intimidating. It's live streaming. It's streaming idiots, We're setting that bar really, really low. So if you're coming in as a newbie, it's okay. Ask newbie questions, that's okay. Everybody in the group was a newbie at one point or another, and everybody can appreciate where you are coming in, because sometimes it seems so overwhelming. So come join the group, ask stupid questions. Yes, absolutely, ask stupid questions. And really nice people will help you and join. It's a lot of fun. And it's a great way to meet people. And when you go to the NAB meetup for Streaming Idiots on April 10th, then you will have friends already in advance. Isn't that fun to go to a strange place and not know anybody, but know half the people in the room? Yeah, I think that's pretty cool too. All right, so we got the marketing class that's meeting again tonight. If you haven't signed up and you want to, it's not too late. You can do that. EasternShoreBroadcasting.com. Go to the store. It's in there. We're offering the new class for vMix Basics of Production that will start first week in February. We'll have more information later on that. We've got the meetup at NAB on April 10th at Scott Whitney Studio. Podworks there. And that's why you write this stuff down, Tom. Anyway, today's subject, we have a special guest today. You might remember this guest from our previous show. Let's welcome, yes, it's PTZ12X-SDI G2, excuse me. He was our very special guest last week when we went through and did a step-by-step walkthrough of the G2 firmware update that makes the camera NDI ready. And then, of course, we entered the NDI license key from NewTek. And I've had a chance to play with this guy some, and probably the coolest thing, and you know, it's crazy the things that I think are cool, but the coolest thing is when I go to load the camera as an input in vMix, I just go to NDI and there it is. It's like oh, you say you want to see that? Okay, got it. Let's see. Let's get a quick desktop capture going here. And, you know, you'd think I would learn to do this stuff in advance. It's not vMix 1. I wish the desktop captures had little thumbnails of what they really were instead of an icon, you know? So let's try that one. Desktop capture, vMix 3. And that's not it. Desktop capture, bear with me. So poorly planned. You know, it's funny, I watch some of the other live streaming shows, and and when things go wrong on those shows, I say, what a bunch of idiots. But when it goes wrong on my show, it's like, oh, that's intentional so that you can learn a lesson. Yeah, right, sure. Yeah, okay. All right, so let me show you my desktop. Let me sharpen it first so any of the text will come up. This is my desktop, yeah. And we're going to add a, oh, Tess is here. Welcome, Tess. You're the reason I'm late getting started today, you and Paul. Anyway, I'm going to add an input. So bottom left-hand corner, add input. Does that window show up? No, it doesn't. Okay, let's see. What is V? Oh, I know what we'll do. Sorry about that. We're going to capture the whole screen. We won't capture the vMix because that doesn't ever work anyway. So we'll capture, is it display 1? Yeah, there we go. That's what we want right there. Okay, so there's me. All right, so there we go. So we're going to add an input. This is simple vMix stuff. We're going to go to NDI over here on the left. And, oh, that's right. I did forget to do that, didn't I? Let's take these out of the way. And we'll go in and sharpen that so you can see more clearly. That's the general tab, the sharpen box. Okay. So we're going to add an input. We're going to go to NDI. And then, of course, ESB, that's Eastern Shore Broadcasting, of course. The broadcast PC is the #1 input right there. And you notice the little whatever you call that swirly swirl that says it says something is paused, something is frozen, something's buffering. No, that's NDI constantly checking for new resources on the network. So we're going to go down here and we'll see here's ESB Skype 2. That's when I used to use Skype instead of vMix Call. I had a separate PC. And then here as its own kind of island out there in the LAN is the PTZ Optics camera called Channel 1. If I had 2 cameras, there would be another one, and we could actually name it. And someday we're going to rename that channel, that camera. But there it is. I can bring it in right now. In fact, I've already brought it in once, so yeah, it populates a second time. How about that? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, so that's it. That's as hard as it gets in terms of, we'll close that one out just so we don't confuse ourselves. That's as hard as it gets to add a NDI camera. We don't have to fumble with an IP address. We don't have to do anything. Of course, I have verified in advance that the camera is up and available on the network. Excuse me, got to get a little, this is actually spiced cider because it's so cold. It was just too cold for cold lemonade. Oh, golly, that's good. So that's how you add the, once you've got the camera on the network, that's all there is to adding it. So let's go back to that shot. I think I showed you a little of this last week, but let's go back to that shot. And I'm going to find this camera. The camera input for this one is, I think it's here, number 72. Let's see, that would be this one right there. That's not a very good picture, is it? Let's go to the PTZ tab. No, that's not it. So where is, oh, there it is right there, number 7. So we'll go to that tab, and as you can see, I'm already logged into the camera. The device type is PTZ Optics Visca UDP. The address is 192.168.1.88. That's the IP address. I'm connected, so I can now move the camera any way I want to. I've got 3 presets already set, number 72, number 73, and number 74. And I can adjust the speeds of the focus and various other things. And so I can go to that shot, and that's going to go slowly around the studio. Now that I've slowed it down, And Scott, you want to know what the microphone is? It's an AT897 Audio-Technica shotgun mic. It's a condenser mic. It's sitting right up here, just out of the shot. I like not having a mic. I mean, I do have the earbuds in my ears, and eventually I'm going to figure out something Bluetooth or something like that so that I can hear my guest and then anything else that I need to hear. But for now, I'm wireless. I mean, I'm not wired up, let's put it that way, at least so far as mic is concerned. So what I want to show you is some of the play that I did with the PTZ Optics camera on its web interface. So let's pull up the web interface. We'll maximize the screen. We'll go to the web interface. And let's capture that screen so that we can get, bear with me. Yeah. We're just not very professional today. That's your cue to say, what, today? Oh, that's just too funny, isn't it? All right, display number 3. Is that the one? Nope, that's my, I've got a multi-view across the way from me. That's really fun to have. All right, so it must be display 1. There we go. Okay, so let's bring that in and we'll sharpen it so that you can see it. And what I want to do here is, before I do anything else, is that's the IP address of the camera, 192.168.1.88. So let's go to that address. I'm already logged in, aren't I? So let's just close out that one and we'll do it again. So 192.168, there it is. And I guess I'm already logged in. I'd have to log out to log back in, but I'll share with you my password, which is admin, and my login is admin, and that's the standard. What we really want to go to is we want to go to the video page here. This is the cool part. And the video page is where we can set the camera for 720p 120, which is what it's currently set for. And vMix doesn't have a hiccup. vMix accepts that camera, no problem. It doesn't seem to, I mean, it's NDI, so I haven't tested whether it's bringing in 120 on a frame rate or not, but it accepts the video. That's the important part. Let's see, let's do one other thing. Bear with me just 1 second. There we go. There we go. Yeah, let's do right there. Okay. I was feeling left out. Is that better? Okay, so top left corner, way up there, is where you're going to do the 720 P120, and then under that, the NDI mode, if you're going to switch to NDI mode. So I've got 720 on, which probably should override all these other settings right here below. So we'll turn it off, and we'll apply that setting, and everything resets. The camera didn't move, but it did reset. So let's go ahead and get that camera headed back the direction it needs to go in. So here's where I can select high, medium, and low as my NDI modes. High being 1080p 60, medium being 1080p 30, and low being 720p 30. So that's basically that's it. The real benefit comes, and somebody was asking about this before, about the on-screen display. Well, actually, they were asking about how do you show the, how do you change all the changes that you can change with the remote control? And that is all the way over there, whoops, all the way over there on the left-hand side, where you can change that little drop down right there from PTZ to OSD. And before we do that, let me just bring in a little screen capture here of our camera. Let's see, that'll be number 7. So let's just pop it in as a multi-view here. Number 7. We'll do the position. We'll shrink it down, and we'll just put it up there and make it just a little bit bigger so you can see it. All right, so that's just that's not part of the interface. I mean, it would be if I had installed whatever it was. Let's see over here. Yeah, it wanted the player, but I don't have the player installed, so we're kind of faking it here. So to do the on-screen display, that's what I wanted to show you. We're going to come down here and turn on the on-screen display, and you'll see that immediately there's the display. And let's go ahead and turn sharpen on for that one too, even though it's a camera image. That might help you. Can you see that any better? Well, maybe if I made it a little bigger. Let's try that. In fact, let's bear with me. That's the problem with all this last minute stuff. Let's just take out that and take out that and blow that up. There we go. Now we can see it. Now we're good, you say. Now we're good, we say. Okay, so going back to our blue page, which is the PTZ Optics camera settings through the network, I can go to the controls here, and since I'm in OSD mode down here, these controls will now do different things. For example, the down button will allow me to, yes, look over there and look up right up here in the menus, and you can see as I press the down button, I can go down through the whole list. If I want to change the exposure, I'll click the home button in the middle, and that'll open up the exposure menu. And if I want to change the mode from auto to something else, I can use the right or left buttons to change the exposure. and just clicking through until I get to the one I want. And we're going to say, maybe auto is the one I really want. So when I get there, none of these buttons help me get back, but there's a conveniently located back button down here at the bottom. That's not really convenient. It was stuck down at the bottom because they didn't know where else to put it. So we go back, and now I'm back in the menu. If I hit back again, it doesn't do anything. So I can go in and change my color. I can change the saturation. I think at this point I just hit right or left. Yeah, there we go. And we can saturize or unsaturize. One thing I noticed that's kind of interesting, we'll go up here to the BG tuning, for example. If I go BG tuning, I can go all the way up to +10. But as soon as I hit +10, you notice it popped into -10. So it just rolls and rolls and rolls. Don't let that fool you the first time it happens. So let's go ahead and bring that back down to 0. There we go. And then we'll go back out to the previous menu. So you can do all of your changes, the same changes that you were doing before. You can do those now within the software, within the, you don't have to get to the camera physically in order to do it. You don't have to use the remote control and try to figure out how am I going to get in the right position to do that and see the screen at the same time. You can do it all online. And I think this was a Gen 2 feature already, but it's nice and handy to have it there so that you can do all of that. Okay, so we're not going to flip anything. We're not going to do anything except leave it the way it was, and we'll click the back button here in the interface. Oh, you can't see me when I said back. Okay, we'll go back button there. There we go. And must be time for the postman. So that's our interface. And golly gee, you'd think somebody was trying to rob us here at the studio. The NDI camera, you must remember, is NDI HX. So that's going to be what we might call NDI Lite. Instead of a 1080p 30 taking up 100 megabits per second of your bandwidth on your network, NDI Lite, NDI HX, is going to take up anywhere between 8 and 12. In this particular example that we were just working with, the bit rate on 1080p 30 is 8192. I don't know if you can see that right there, but that's the bit rate. If I change it from the medium NDI mode to the high mode, which is 1080p 60, it goes up to 12K, essentially, 12,000K, or about 12 megs. 720p 120 doesn't change the bit rate, so I need to go in and play with that one a little bit and experiment, as well as the profiles, main profile, high profile, and then SVC-T. So we'll just cancel all of those because we don't want to save those. And we'll kind of turn off the on-screen display. There we go. I thought it might be fun, and we'll do this in the post-show, to try to color balance the NDI camera to the Marshall cam. And we can do that live, and I've set up a side-by-side test, and so we'll kind of take a look at that one in just a second. So let's see if we've got any questions on this so far. All right. Well, then that's it. No questions on this subject for the moment. Lots of questions on how to watch full screen. So apparently somehow the embed has gotten changed back to not full screen. We'll fix that later. So let's wrap up here with what we've done today. We've got the PTZ Optics 12X, which is what I'm using here in the studio, the 12X-SDI Gen 2 edition, and we have upgraded the firmware on that to the what the PTZ Optics folks are calling the NDI ready firmware. That process was a little tedious. It took me about 2 hours. Last week I showed you a video that was 24 minutes long that didn't show the part when I was pulling my hair out because I couldn't get the IP addresses correct, but that's me, not them. So figure, it's going to take you anywhere from a half an hour to a couple of hours to update your PTZ Optics Gen 2 camera if you choose to do that. What are the advantages? Well, the big advantage is it's NDI. I mean, it's NDI HX, but it's NDI. It's available to any device on your network that can accept a camera. It is much easier to bring the camera in and get it working, get it using, and it has the advantage of 720p 120. Now, what are we going to do with that? Well, I know what I can't wait to try is to bring it in as a camera in vMix Instant Replay and see if I can get 120 frames a second. And then if I slow it down to 25% for a replay, then I'm still showing 30 frames a second. That's what I'd love to see. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing? So that all of a sudden puts the PTZ Optics cam on my list of things that I want to give a good close look at when it comes to sports. That and working with the joystick a little bit more to see if we can't get some good live motion. I know it's not going to be the same as a camera operator because number one, it doesn't have a viewfinder and you're not looking through it like that. But I think with some practice, it can look pretty good. And Kane says, and most importantly, NDI is just nifty. Nifty? It's just nifty. Okay. Yeah, that must be a northeastern thing. Nifty. We would call it neat. Oh, he says nifty. Oh, okay. Got it. The PTZ Optics cam, right now the 12X retails street price for $15.99. The 20X street price is $16.99. The firmware upgrade and license key to NDI is $300. And that's good probably for about the first quarter of this year. So if you're thinking about updating your existing Gen 2, it has to be Gen 2, it can't be Gen 1, your existing Gen 2 PTZ Optics cam, then the first quarter is going to be the time to do it, because when the PTZ Optic NDI cam comes out, that is NDI already installed, that will be the end of the $300 upgrade, and the upgrade will then be $600. If you're saying, well, Tom, wouldn't it make sense for me to buy a camera now and get the $300 upgrade put on it and save $300? And I'm thinking, yeah, I like the way you're thinking. That's what I would do. In fact, that's what I did. So if you don't have a PTZ Optics cam and you would like one, we have them in our store. If you want to shoot me an email, Tom at Eastern Shore Broadcasting. Whoops. Whoops, that's even worse. Oh, what happened? This is bad. Our main shot went blank. What happened to our main shot? There we go. Still not sure what happened to the main shot. We'll go back to it. There it is. Okay. There we go. We'll have to find out about that one. Tom at EasternShoreBroadcasting.com. I can answer any questions. The deal that I'll make is that if you want to buy the camera, I will have the upgrade put on there for you if you buy the upgrade and the camera at the same time. So let me know if you'd like that. It'll come to you as if it were already NDI on board. So we'll see. That's going to be fun. And again, if you already have the camera and you want the upgrades are in our store at easternshorebroadcasting.com. $300, and we can get it to you as soon as it is released. Now, the upgrade itself is supposed to be released at the end of this month. The camera with the upgrade pre-installed in it, the PTZ Optics NDI camera, will be released probably in March sometime. Now, all the dates that PTZ Optics have been giving us so far have sort of been a moving target, so take those dates with a grain of salt. Except to say that I know if you pre-order the upgrade, that you will get the $300 price, not the $600 price. So that's for sure. That's for sure. We ought to have one of these cameras at the NAB meetup so that everybody can see it. I'll get up with Scott Whitney and see if he's got some Gen 2 PT. I think he's got some PTZ Optics there if they're Gen 2s. If not, I'm sure the PTZ Optics folks or the New Tech folks can help us get a hold of some cams to have on hand at the, well, shoot, those cams are going to be on hand at NAB. Never mind. You go to the PTZ Optics booth and maybe even the New Tech booth too. I don't know. And you can see those cams to your heart's delight. And that will be a good thing. Now, one other note, full disclosure, yes, full disclosure. This entire show has been an infomercial for my company, Eastern Shore Broadcasting. And most of it's been info, but now the commercial part, which, I always get kind of bashful about. But that's what my company does. We represent PTZ Optics. We sell their cameras. We help folks integrate their cameras in with whatever setup they already have, or frequently, people will buy cameras with a custom-built streaming PC that we also design, build, and supply. And so they have a system that is designed to work together. That is, we're going to go in and make all the tweaks so that all you have to do is plug it in. And of course, we're using vMix for that. Of course, we're using a PI Engineering X-Key controller as part of that. Depending on your preference, we can also install a Magewell capture card in that PC. And if you just need the capture card or just need the Xbox controller, we sell those in our store, so that you're welcome to get all those. You say, well, Tom, I don't really know enough to know what I want. Well, then call me, shoot me an email, whatever you will, and we can talk about what's going to be best for you. We do have a couple of sample PCs in our store, so you can get a feel for what the pricing would be. And the custom PCs don't vary a whole lot from that. In fact, sometimes people will say, oh, Tom, I don't need a capture card at all because I'm doing all NDI. I don't need this, I don't need that. And so the price could be actually less than what's in the store. So, and to quote William Eric Morrison, NDI kind of scares me. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You can be concerned. You can be apprehensive. You can be watchful, but don't be afraid. Don't be scared. So that's the end of the commercial part of the info thing. What else can I tell you? Golly gee. I guess that's it. I guess we're done. So say so long to today's guest, Mr. PT12X-SDI, who is now NDI. And he's really had a good run. And in fact, we're going to let him do a little slow-mo move out for you. And you'll be seeing him on future shows, especially as we do studio tours and things like that. He's going to be ideal for that. And we have a Visca controller here that we're going to be playing with over the next several weeks to see if we can get some good action out of him in a live format. We'll try it at the church. We'll try it with some sporting events. And I can try it in the studio, but there's really no big benefit to doing that here. So if you want to stick around for the post show, we'll see if we can color match these critters. And meanwhile, we will close out this part of the show. Thanks so much for joining us. We're on every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern. And if you, see the mouse pad over there? If you want a vMix mouse pad, send an email to iwantamousepad@vmix.com, and they'll send you a mouse pad. It's the darndest thing. I'm just looking at mouse pads across the room, and that's what I see. So there you go. Have fun. Be good. Join Streaming Idiots group. Stick around for the post show. We'll see you later. Like the new graphics? Martin did those. Those are cool.